And we are back for round 2 of GPT Brisbane. I'm Jared again. This is Leroy. So
That's me.
That's time. Who have we got this time? We got Hugh Nixon versus Gav Stevenson. So we got an Elves versus Affinity matchup here, mate. So we had Affinity last round, and we saw it win over Black White Tokens. What do you think about it against Elves, though? And you played Elves in Legacy for God knows how long.
Elf tribe, man. Now, as far as the current iteration of Elves goes in Modern, I think it has the tools to beat Affinity.
Yeah.
It gets big very quickly, and you really are filtering and choosing which ones you want to be putting into play through your collected company, and of course if he's playing Lead the Stampede.
I'm not sure if he is. I've only met Hugh a couple of times. He plays out at Game Traders Chermside, which I've judged out a little bit recently.
Mm-hmm.
And he seems to know what he's doing. He's got the Legacy and the Modern builds, but I'm not sure what to think of his Modern deck. I played against it the other night and lost, but I didn't see much of it because I whiffed horribly. It's another go-wide deck, kind of like Black White Tokens, but this one is a bit of a combo element to it as well. So
Yeah.
we'll show you have a look.
Let's have a go.
All right.
Now, is Hugh taking a mulligan here?
It looks like it. Oh no, he was just shuffling up, so he's presented to his opponent to shuffle.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know, I was looking at that sexy hand up top. Let's see how many cards he draws. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah,
He's taking a mulligan.
He did take
He's
a
on
mulligan.
the draw as well. It's going to be interesting. I mean,
So how well does the Elves deck mulligan?
the deck can always just go land Llanowar Elves, turn 2 Elvish Arc Druid. And that play is so incredibly strong, especially against a deck like Affinity where they only have 4 removal spells for it.
That's very true. At least pre-board.
Pre-board, of course.
Yeah. So Inkmoth next. Oh, come on. That's not fun at all.
That's not an Affinity
That's
play.
nothing like we saw last round. Meanwhile,
Here we go.
we're
Is
talking
that an
about...
Elvish Mystic or is that a Boreal Druid?
That is an Elvish Mystic.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the
F&M promo?
That's the F&M promo, I think.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Wow, so an Affinity player
And
is...
this Blink Moth. Are we
There we
actually
go.
going to get a proper play here?
Yeah, is this a Steel Overseer coming?
One spell in 2 turns. That doesn't feel right. Ravager.
It's a Ravager.
That's one we didn't see at all last round, actually. Yeah. Now, thanks to Robert for the dice that show up easily on camera. Does he actually travelled to... The guy lives down in Ipswich. He came up to Morayfield today just to make sure we fired, because we only had 12 players for this event.
Yeah, unfortunately I was down on the Gold Coast on the same weekend.
Yeah.
There was another large SCG Invitational, I believe.
That's right. I actually wanted to play it, but I'd already committed to help these guys out, because it's a small store. I just want to help it grow a little bit. Dwynen's Elite
Here's a
into
Dwynen's
token.
Elite. Now, as an Elf player, I've got to say that Dwynen's Elite has thoroughly surprised me.
Oh, it's a good card. So good.
It's the card that will be a mainstay for Elves, especially in the Eternal formats. It's made the biggest impact since the Heritage and Needle Sentinel combo that came out in Shadowmoor Eventide.
And that was a while ago as well.
Yeah.
Jeez, that was 2007. That's a decade ago that came out.
Yeah, wow.
Well, Shadowmoor, was that in 2008 or was that still late 2007?
Eventide was 2008. Shadowmoor was definitely 2007. Looks like he's got a couple of plays now. He must have topped over the last 2 turns the Mox Opal and the Signal Pest in order for him not to play either of them on turn 1.
Yeah, that did seem like a very slow and not so great opening for Affinity, but he must have been holding some absolute gas.
And this is a fairly slow start for Elves as well. I mean, I know he's gone wide, but he's not really buffed anything. He's not created a ridiculous amount of mana like Elves can do.
Yeah, but this is Modern Elves. It's typically turn 3 you want to be doing that, not turn 2 like in
yeah,
Legacy.
that's true.
I mean, I'm much more familiar with the Legacy build like yourself.
I mean, the Legacy build always has that, oops, here's a natural order, I'll swing for 20. Whereas the old extended Elves version and the current modern iteration that uses Cloudstone Curio really relies on the top of your deck.
Cloudstone Curio, what's that one again? I'll stick that up on the screen.
There we go. Cloudstone Curio. It combos off with a Dwynen's Elite, a Heritage Druid, and another 1-drop Elf. It's a way to create infinite mana, but it's all playable from the hand.
That's beautiful.
It's another combo deck. It's just more susceptible to removal than this version. This version just wants to hit you in the face with some 1/1s
Much
until
more
you're dead.
aggressive deck, yeah. Has he actually made a play? No, I don't think so there. No, here we go. 1, 2 into a... What's that? Is that... Oh, that's the promo Visionary, isn't it?
Is he going to draw a card? He didn't draw a card.
Yeah, you did.
Did he draw a card?
Yeah.
I missed it. I prefer not to play with foils, so I'm unfamiliar with a couple of these pieces of artwork.
There's a couple of foils I will play with, though. I just picked up a second Judge Fall Mana Drain from the GP. Those are beautiful. I love that much more than... What the hell's going on in that old Legends art?
Oh, look, some of those old art pieces, you know, maybe the job description was a little bit off for the artists. Hey, draw this, when really they meant to draw that.
And let's just look at Word of Command.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Draw a pair of eyes, guys.
Yeah.
But I also like to play with... I know you prefer the Alpha art, but I like the Fire and Lightning, Chain Lightning, and Lightning Bolt.
Yeah, I mean, I really, really like the Christopher Rush Lightning Bolt. It's just a classic piece of art for Magic nostalgia, Magic history.
And what was the release that did the old style in foil? Those old Chris Rush ones?
I believe that was the Judge promo Lightning Bolt.
What?
Currently the most expensive Lightning Bolt printed.
There's a reason for that, though. They're beautiful.
Well, it's a foil beta card, a foil alpha card.
Yeah.
You know, it has the old border as well. So it looks like both players are going wide here.
So this is a
This isn't-
5/5, 6/5. Is that an Inkmoth? That's an
Yeah,
Inkmoth Nexus.
that's quite gross.
He's going in for the Infect kill. Yes, that is exactly what it does here.
So give us a rundown on how this works. You've activated a creature.
Yep.
It's now a 1/1, and you've equipped it with an Ensoul artifact to make it a 5/5.
Mhm.
Of course, at the end of the turn, he turns back into a creature. What happens, Judge?
So because
Turns back into a land.
back into a land. So in Soul Artifact enchants, I believe, any artifact. I'll put it up on the screen there because it's a little bit easier to see.
And that's game.
That's
And that's game. He's
I guess I've got-
sacrificed the Arcbound Ravager. He's created a few tokens to make it obviously greater than 10.
Okay, so what happens here is when it goes back into being a land, state-based actions will happen during the cleanup step, and because Ensoul Artifact is enchanting something that it shouldn't be able to enchant, it will just go to the graveyard as a state-based action.
Right. So obviously, just here, Gav's used the Ensoul Artifact as a giant growth, or as a +4/+4. What is that? Invigorate. There we go.
Yep.
So he's just used that as an Invigorate. Not really that relevant
It's not a
for
good
his
card.
deck at all, but because he put it on the Inkmoth Nexus, he got to steal a really quick win
He did, he got there.
from Hugh.
So it looks like we're about to go into game 2, so let's take a quick look at sideboards while we can.
Alright.
That's, so looking at Hugh's sideboard here, he's got an Aven Mind Sensor, which I can see basically no use for.
Yeah.
Burrington Forge Tender, yeah, Galf Blast, we don't care. Kataki's War Wage, of course.
But of course,
2
and then he's
Paths to
got
Exile.
3 Chord of Calling. That's probably going to come in with the Kataki, just to
Definitely.
play 4 Katakis.
Yeah, it's a 5-mana Kataki, but that still gets you there when you're playing on silly Elves mana.
Yeah.
Phyrexian
Phyrexian Revoker, I could see that one coming
I
in.
can see a case for it, yeah. Spellskite, not really. It blocks for days, but it's only really going to stop a Galf Blast.
It stops modular on Ravager,
After
and
that,
it is a
ooh,
pretty sneaky Chord of
that's
Calling.
true as well. Ooh, Malera. Now, after that out of nowhere Infect kill, what do you think about Malera?
Look, as far as it goes, yeah, sure, you're lost to Infect, but do you really want a useless bear
When you
in
bring
your deck?
when you're bringing in 3 Chord of Calling, you can see a reason to do it.
I can see that as well. I mean, I much prefer the Spellskite. I much prefer the Phyrexian Revoker. Being proactive rather than reactive seems like the place you want to be.
How about the Selfless Spirit?
Selfless Spirit's an odd one. Obviously, Selfless Spirit's going to be for that one turn that you decide to either block or attack into blockers.
Yeah, and unless he chords for it though, it's going to be on there and it's going to inform all the decisions. I'm not sure I like the Selfless Spirit here. The Skew's probably not. That's really more for the Graveguard synergy decks.
Yeah.
Gaddock
yeah.
Teague, not a chance. No.
I really like the Chameleon Colossus in the sideboard. It's
Yeah?
also an elf, so it gets the buff. And doubling it up twice is quite easy to do. So being able to go from 4-4 or 5-5 to 20-20 is very interesting.
That seems alright.
Obviously, it's not coming in this match.
Not in this match, no, but it's a spicy piece of attack. I like it.
Looking at Gav's sideboard here, he's got Chalice of the Void, which seems really, really relevant. And
Chalice
I really
of one
like that idea.
Will get you there. Grafdigger's Cage, not so much. Spellskite, not so much. Another Etch Champion.
And he's playing the 1 Blood Moon. I don't mind that.
I don't, yeah?
I mean, I know you like playing 2 or more.
I love playing 2 Blood Moon or more, but I'm not sure about this matchup.
No, it's obviously not coming in versus Elves, but just reflecting on that from the last game, I think he's definitely going to bring in the Chalices. The Grafdigger's Cage comes in regardless of whether he saw Court of Calling in or not.
Of course, yeah. Court of, I was thinking just out of the graveyard. Yeah, you're absolutely right about the...
and Coco.
And Coco,
yep.
Pierre's Revolution, probably
couple
not.
Of Stubborn Denials.
Stubborn Denial, I don't like it here.
No,
It's
I don't
only
think so.
instant sorcery, I think? Or is it just
No.
non-creature?
Stubborn Denial is counter-target non-creature.
Non-creature, okay. Ancient Grudge, no. Thoughtseize, probably not.
No, I don't think so. I mean, Gita per Aether Grid is a one-off, is fine. You get to remove their creatures, but realistically, you don't want to be tapping 4 things to kill a 1-drop.
You don't know, but if that 1-drop is, what's the elf that taps? Heritage Druid, thank you.
Yeah.
That might be worth it.
And of course, Gav's just done a little special Chalice of Le Void for us.
Chalice of Le Void? Oh,
Chalice of Le Void.
That's very exotic, Gav.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Smooth. Fun fact for you too, guys. Gav's wearing a Back to the Future t-shirt there. Unfortunately for us here in the present time, all of the Back to the Future movies are now in the past. There is no time ahead of us in the Back to the Future movies.
There is not, and we still don't have a new Jaws movie that we saw in part 2.
Oh,
remember
we
that?
haven't seen the new Jaws? Oh, what's going on with that? That was a Spielberg film, isn't it?
That was.
We're going to send that into Spielberg. Alright. Presented decks.
Still on a hoverboard. Alright, we're presented.
Oh,
we're going back
wish.
to playing some Magic. Let's do this.
Although we've got the pumped up kicks. And we've got a song about pumped up kicks.
We do.
So,
We've still got arcade games that you play like a children's toy. Was it baby's toy? I don't remember the quote.
I don't think I'm ever going to give up the video games and the card games.
Oh, those Back to the Future bloody video games were awful.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Playing that the old NES game, I think I rented that 3 times trying to work out what the fuck was going on.
Alright, both players. Looks like Gav's made his decision. He's on the draw though. He's waiting for Hugh to make his decision before he announces.
I have no idea what Hugh's holding there. I can't see it. He's holding it too close together, not being too polite to the camera up there.
Looks like Gav's either making a really, really tough decision or he's playing a stoic opponent for Hugh. He's made his decision.
But he's got to give the impression that he's got to think about this one. Is it I think it's a pair of Llanowar Elves there.
It does look like it.
No, we're going to see. That's Mulligan.
Yeah, I think it looked like Hugh was just keeping 1 land there. Just had 1 land in there.
Yeah, even if you got a pair of Mana Dorks there, you always bulk the bird, and the last thing he wants to see is a Galf Blast on his 1 Llanowar Elves, and he's gone. You never keep the 1 lander. It's not worth the risk. But as you were saying before, Mulligan's nice and easy. He'll be okay.
I'd love to know how many lands this version is running. It seems like 20 or 21 is the correct amount, but...
I think he said 20.
Okay, so 20, but he's obviously going to be playing 9 to 11 Mana Dorks.
Oh, definitely.
Not including Heritage Druid Needle Sentinel. I imagine he'll be playing the full 4 Llanowar Elves, and then the full 4 either Arbor Elf or Elvish Mystic. And then
I like
playing
Elvish
a
Mystic
ninth
more
on
there.
top. Yeah, I do too. Cool. Keeping 6, scrying 1.
Once again, it's on top. He likes it.
Take it away. Oh, that good old Darksteel Forest too.
That's a nice forest.
Repping the times that I was just a freshman to the game.
That's when I got back into the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started playing with my uncle way back in Revised.
Yep.
And yeah, I was a child. I didn't have any money, so I came back into the game in Darksteel, and I played the best deck at the time, the mono red goblins with Goblin King of Blood Moon.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, look at all these Muppets playing these Painlands with $5 a piece. I'm going to get there under the gun with my. I think it was $2 each at the time. Blood Moon's $2. That was a good.
See, I was a big fan of Big Red around that time, playing Arc Slogger.
Oh, Arc Slogger.
Man.
He paid a red mill 10 cards for a shock.
Yep. Yeah, shock on a stick. Alright, so that's a pretty explosive start.
That's a better start
Double
than we saw
Mox
before.
Oper and a Darksteel Citadel. He's going to be swinging for quite a bit of damage next turn. There we go. That's the turn 2. That's the mulligan to 6 that I was talking about. So important. Next turn he's looking at minimum 5 mana.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, straight up 5 mana. Makes you wish you could cast Natural Order in this format. Oh, that's just getting better and better.
Alright, so he's going to be swinging for a lot of damage here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's a 14-point life swing on turn 2.
This is turn 2. That's amazing. That's a beautiful start out of Gav. And he's up a game as well. I mean, this could just be the match already. I mean, obviously the people at home can see how much time's left in the video. I mean, we can too, but I don't want to spoil the surprise. No, if I move the mouse, we can see it.
Alright, so Hugh's got some decisions to make here. He really needs to get rid of this.
He's got to make good ones. He's got to make them fast. He's on 13 life, and he's facing down potentially lethal next turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Looks like Gav's got 1 card in hand.
Potentially 11 damage next turn, just with what's on board.
So he's getting the free mana, playing the Mystic, and then getting an additional green for it. So he's staying at 5. He has a Chord of Calling. So Chord of Calling here
For how much?
for 2. It looks like it's for 2. This Elvish Mystic that's untapped can still tap for mana.
And that's Kataki.
He's got to be getting Kataki.
It's got to be Kataki. So is Kataki a sacrifice, or is it a destroy like Tabernacle is? I'll put it up.
It's a sacrifice.
Well, there it is on the screen there.
There we go.
It is a sacrifice.
So it's also, it gives your cards the trigger. Rather than having the trigger on your onus, if your opponent mistakes and goes to the draw step without doing it, they've missed their own trigger, so you decide what's best. And of course what's best is they sacrifice everything.
It used to be the default. Just whatever, if you don't do it, but ever since Improvise came in. So what that used to be was if you had a default clause, if you don't do something, trigger,
Yep.
you just did that automatically if you missed the trigger.
Yep.
But because Improvise came in and it's if you don't, you get a creature.
Yep.
That's the first time in Magic's history that we had a positive on the default clause of a trigger.
Gotcha. So to make it so that the opponent decides.
They actually changed the mistrigger rules in what was it? What had servos? Kaladesh.
Yes.
When Kaladesh came along, they actually changed the mistrigger rules to say now your opponent chooses which option to apply.
And I've seen some tasty ones. I've seen a couple of people choose, yes, I want my opponent to draw a card with Dark Confidence.
Yeah.
Because I have a Lightning Bolt. Some of those ones are relevant.
Well, that's actually a very different one again. That's actually under Hidden Card Error. So what you do now for Dark Confident, and obviously this is at regular L, so it's irrelevant, but Dark Confident, what you do is you reveal the hand, and your opponent chooses which card was the card that they drew, quote unquote. I'm doing air quotes, and I don't have a camera on me, obviously. But they choose which one was picked up by Bob.
Yeah, so it was World Spine Worm.
Yeah, it was definitely was. It was that Draco that you've got in your hand.
That's
there.
right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, take 16, please. And so what that does for other cards as well. So if we all remember the Patrick Chapin incident with Ricardo on camera there, where he used his Ajani, put it on top of his hand without revealing the card. And he got the game loss upgraded there. But what would happen now is that's a hidden card error, and you reveal your hand and your opponent chooses which card you
Was
revealed.
the card revealed?
And if it's an illegal card, it goes back into the library. Whereas if it is the legal type card, like a creature, I believe it is,
Right.
in the instance of a Chani, it goes into hand like normal.
Yep.
But you get that information, and you get to potentially shuffle the card away.
Yep.
So it's not quite as nasty as the game loss, but it's still pretty devastating. And is he gonna pay for the Kitaki here? 1 to keep that, 2 to keep that, and 3 to keep the Dark Citadel. That's fine. That's all he needs.
Yep.
Yes, he does need to pay that here.
Still getting in for 4.
It's not terrible under a Kitaki. I mean, he's still waiting to draw that Gal. Well, he can't cast it. Can't cast a Gal Blast. And he's up to 24 playing 4. I'd be feeling pretty good at this stage, even under a Kitaki with a neutered board state.
Well, let's have a look here. I mean, Elvish Archdruid's going to tap for 2, 4, 6, 8. If he can somehow get an Azuri into play, he's got a very, very large board swinging at him.
Enough to do 24 this turn? I'd have to... I mean, you're better at the Elves math than I am, but all I can say is that the Affinity math is a lot simpler right now.
Yep.
It's turn your creature sideways, go to 28 and win the match.
See, I wonder... let's have a look. Does Hugh have any reclamation sages or anything like that in his board?
In his sideboard, that's from last round. I think you've got the sideboards there. Let's go. I don't have Hugh's sideboard anymore. I don't remember seeing Rex Sage in there.
No, I don't think so. Maybe he's playing 1 main.
He might be playing
No,
on
it
main.
doesn't look like
Unfortunately, I don't have the full deck list because this was a regular event, so...
No, he realises that that's it.
No, we're all done.
Scoops.
We are all done here. What did you think of that one, Matt?
Look, Affinity is obviously taking it away this tournament. He brought in a Barenton Forge Tenter to try and counter that Galvanic Blast.
Galvanic Blast.
Whip Flare as well, that's relevant. Obviously, Gav isn't playing Whip Flare in his sideboard.
But what else have we seen bring in there? What did Gav bring in? 3 cards. We were talking about roughly 3 cards.
2 Chalice of the Void.
But yeah, that match was over very, very quickly. I mean, Elves, he started getting there. He started going off.
Look, when you get a turn 2 Elvish Visionary Archdruid out, I mean, you really can take the game away.
But Affinity was just that little bit too fast in both games, especially with that surprise kill out of nowhere and Soul Artifact on the Inkmoth Nexus. So you can't do anything about that.
Turn 1 equipment as well. The cranial plating on turn 1 is exactly what you want in every single game.
Well, that's it here. So I don't remember what's actually on the round 3. We pre-recorded these. Obviously, they aren't live, but we'll have to see what's in round 3. We'll see you then.
All right.